Good morning, everyone. Once again, this is Black Forest coming to you with another market analysis video. This morning, we're going to be looking at the AUDUSD, also known as the Aussie. But before we get started to break down this Forex pair, we have to say that this video is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Okay? Now, but we all know why you guys are here, to find good, credible Forex content that can help improve your ability as a trader and to help put a little bit extra money in your pocket during these troubling times. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and start to break down this currency pair. Okay, so you guys as know, like we like to do at Black Forest, we like to talk about what's actually happening with the currency, the fundamentals, before we start to go into the actual technical analysis on the chart. Now, the Aussie still remains one of our stronger currencies heading into this trading week, and we did have some very good economic news towards the latter part of the trading week that more further reinforced the Australian dollar, the Aussie being strong. Okay. Now, with the USD, as we stated in previous videos, that it is still remains one of our weaker currencies, but we're going to have to keep a close eye on it due to all the news that's surrounding it. Even though we had some poor economic news about the USD come out at the latter part of last week, we did have the Fed increase the interest rate from 25% to 50%. And we did have news come out saying that the Fed said that the inflation is just too high, it's ridiculously high, and they're going to do everything in their power to try to combat this inflation. Okay, so basically, we're in a situation like this, where it can go one or two ways. If the increase in the interest rate combats the inflation effectively and expeditiously, then we were going to see an increase in strength with the USD. But if the increase in the interest rate does not combat the inflation effectively and is combated in a very slow pace, we will start to see FUD start to surround the USD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Okay, and which means that it will maintain its current weakness or start to become much weaker than what it actually is. Okay, so we're going to have to wait to see how these things play out as the rest of the trading week continues on. Now, with that being said, let's break down what's happening on the charts. Okay, so as you can see, right here, we did kind of reach a high. We came down some. We were coming back up, but right around here, I wanted to make sure I brought this up in this video. We did have this drop down. Now, this drop down solely came from when news that came out that said that the Feds were going to increase the interest rate. Just that news alone caused the markets to react and push it down. Okay, and then as you can see, we did have an initial push up, at which we started to range out here, where we were somewhat going down in some retracement, but then we started to pick up strength again and go up towards the long side. But we didn't go towards the long side too effectively and aggressively. Okay. And so we're in a situation where eventually we're going to have some retracement coming in, but what's going to dictate how aggressive that retracement comes in is whether we get some good or bad news concerning the Australian dollar or the Aussie. Okay, if we do get some good or some bad news concerning the Aussie, when the Australian dollar news come out in the middle to later part of the trading week, we could be in a situation where we start to push and aggressively push down past this market structure here to either here or possibly this area here before we start to continue to go back in the long position. I would caution placing buys here at this high, because what's going to happen is once that retracement starts to come in, you'll be stuck in this area here and have to wait for price to get back in this area here before you can start to see any blue or any profit coming in. Okay, and what will happen is that you could possibly be in retracement, very aggressive retracement. The trade will possibly hit your risk management stop loss area, or you could possibly, depending on the amount of money you have in your account and your lot size, crash your account. So if you do want to get back in this for a long position, I would wait till you get some pullback first and then go back into the trade. That's the safest thing to do. That's actually personally what I'm doing. Okay, but we are going to have a drop in price eventually. Just don't know when, but it's going to happen at some time where we could drop down as here, range, go back up. We could drop down to this area here, range, go back up, or we could drop down to this area here when we range and go back up. So we're going to have to see how this plays out throughout the trading week. But as I said previously, please don't get caught up. This is what a lot of retail traders do. They look at these aggressive moves and then think it's on, not knowing usually by this time all the major players that were involved in this trade then pulled out, and the only people that still pressing buy here are the people that does not directly know what they're doing. Okay. So if you are in this trade for buy, you do have some profit. I would strongly advise it just to close it while you're in the money. Don't think about, okay, I'm about to go ahead and shoot all up and go buy a Tesla. Save your money, save your account, take what you made, get out the trade because I'm trying to tell you price drop is coming and we don't know how far it's going to go. It could go here, then go up here, can go here, go up here, or it can go as far as here before it starts to go up here. Now, and also remember too, anything can happen during the time that's taking it to happen. So let's say that the USD decides to start to get its act together and the American government with the Federal Reserve starts to put good economic policies in place in which start to make the USD become very strong. And also theorized scenario that the Aussie starts to become weakest because it has a lot of poor news coming out. Not saying this is what's happening. These are possibilities you have to consider. And you could be in a position where you thought it was going to be a buy here, but now you're in a situation where major price turmoil is happening. Okay, so never buy when you see it's at very high highs. Always wait for the pullback before you go in. As I said previously, we may pull back as far as here, may pull back as far as here, or may pull back as far as this area here before it goes back into its long position. Okay. Hope that information was helpful for you guys. Happy trading.